Hello, and welcome to Ask the Expert, a series on the Building Conversations podcast where STO Building Group experts answer questions from our listeners. I'm your host, Rob Leon, Chief Innovation Officer at STO Building Group, and today we are diving into how artificial intelligence is transforming the way we build. So our first question, how is AI being used in construction today, and what's been the impact so far? So the interesting thing about artificial intelligence, AI, is that you can't talk about AI without talking about data. AI is really driven on top of all of the data that we have in our organization. So the way it's being used right now, currently, I think most effectively, are through agents. And agents are used to either query documents, looking at RFIs, submittals, let's say, meeting minutes. And it's pulling that information and providing it to our project teams. The interesting thing right now is that in 2025, all of the agents are really just becoming, it's in its early stage and it's being developed. I think in 2026, those agents get better. They become more insightful, more intuitive. They help us with more decision-making practices, which will lead us into a longer-term evolution of how we use AI. One of the other ways we're using AI today is to help build models that teach us where projects may be going off track, let's say, or what projects may be going into risk. So the AI engine or the AI agent looks at the current data. It measures that against the models of what a job should look like at any given point in time, and it'll allow us to understand if we are on track or not on track. So from a client's perspective, where does AI bring the most value? Again, this kind of builds on the first question, which is the value that AI is going to bring to our clients is really on the backs of the data that we have to work with and on the backs of how we use it. So our clients are asking us, most importantly, to say, well, how do we use AI for cost certainty? As the models get better, we'll be able to provide better cost certainty. The model is learning and it's getting trained. It's getting trained, let's say, specific to the client's information, specific to the data that we have that may be adjacent to the client. If our client is a financial-driven entity, we have their data specifically, and then we have, let's say, their peers' data. So when you pull all that together, that drives more cost certainty. The same goes for schedule. The more information that we pump into the model about schedule, duration, tying that very specifically into the scope that is part of the project, those models learn. And then we can be more predictive about the schedule. We could also use an AI model to take a look at the reality capture and look at certain deficiencies in a project. So if you go into a room, for example, and you capture that reality, you put it into an AI model, it can say, well, look, the painting is not complete, or the base is not complete, or let's say the ceiling tile has a chip in it, so it would have to be changed. So question number 3 is, as AI-powered technology becomes more integrated into the construction process, what risks should clients be aware of, especially when it comes to data reliability and contracts? This is a great question. I think it's one of the things that we've all been contemplating. Certainly, if you put project data or any kind of company data into an open source AI engine like ChatGPT, you run a lot of risk. You're not allowed to do that. We cannot do that. However, if you use some of the either internal engines that we're building, or if you look at some of the, let's say, technology that we've employed, such as trunk tools, all of that data really remains in a very siloed location. It doesn't go out into the world. It may be training the model, and that's fine, but it's not going out into the general public. So it's really project-specific data stays within the project. Once that project is over, the quote-unquote brain that was built to manage that project literally goes away, and the data is no longer with that model. So great question. I think we're always contemplating that. Client data integrity is of utmost importance, and as long as we stay in the approved tools, we'll be fine. Question number 4. For clients considering AI-enabled delivery, what questions should they ask to make sure they are getting both innovation and reliability? Another great question. And like I said before, it really depends on the quality of the data. So when your data quality is very good, then any kind of intelligence you build onto that is going to give you the most innovation and the most reliability. Question number 5, and I think the most exciting question, which is looking ahead, how do you see AI shaping the future of construction, both for how we build and for how clients experience and manage their projects? Again, this is such a great question. I think, to me, we're going to see a quick evolution from how we're using AI today, which is very agentic, somewhat reliable, getting better, into next year where I think it becomes more integrated into the management process. But in, let's say, the near future, 2027, 2028 and beyond, this is where I think AI becomes really, I think, powerful. You can run iterative processes. So like if you were thinking about how do you build something, you can actually run the scenarios over and over. That the AI is going to tell you this is the best way to build based on so many different data points, not just the scope of the work, not just the project location, but also who the designer is, who your internal team is, who are the subcontractors, what time of year, possibly. So when we think about what AI can do on the design side, AI becomes more generative than it is today. It frees up a lot of the administrative time producing documents, and it frees up a lot of our time to be in the field. The experiential piece from our clients are that we are able to, let's say, run scenarios. We can run models before we actually swing a hammer in the field. So we take a lot of the risk reduction out of it. So I think that this question probably deserves an hour-long answer because there's so much to it. There's so much we don't know yet. The very near future, meaning like 3 to 5 years, we're going to see some tremendous steps and a very different way of how we build.